Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. Amma ba'd. Today, inshallah azza wa jal, we finish off what remains from the final two chapters of the book Iqtidaa-ul Ilm al Amal. We finish off the chapter taking advantage of youth, health and free time, and hastening to do good deeds before the occurrence of that which will cause these things to cease. And inshallah azza wa jal, the final chapter, which is a very short chapter, the disapproval of procrastinating. And as we mentioned at the beginning, it's important not that just a person begins a book and finishes it, but ask themselves, what did I increase in that time? What good did I increase in? What good did I begin? Or what bad did I stop doing or decrease in? If a person gets to a book, a quarter of the book, halfway through the book, 3/4 of the book, today inshallah azza wa jal finishing the book, even if it's only a very short treatise, but a person needs to say to himself, if I didn't increase in any goodness or decrease in any bad, then have I truly implemented what I am learning? We haven't gone through a lot of specifics in terms of the book itself, but we've mentioned a lot of specifics along the way. Whether it be in your actions, in your knowledge, in your character, in your dress, in your conduct. If a person still is the exact same person now as he was a few weeks ago, or more than a few weeks ago, when we first started the book, then this is a sign that he hasn't understood aslan the purpose of this specific book. And if you're going to allow yourself to have your journey in seeking knowledge like that, then your journey in seeking knowledge will be very short. Because as we went through in the book, that which blesses your knowledge is your action. If your knowledge is not watered with the watering of action, then that seed of knowledge will never grow, and it will never be blessed, and it will just die. It will just die. And now, yes, alhamdulillah, maybe you have the ability, Allah has given you the ability to be religious in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, but this is all a game and a plan of shaitan, as we've mentioned before, where a person thinks that he got to high levels, he became comfortable where he was, and then he dropped. Why? Because he didn't continue building and going on the knowledge that he had with action. Narration number 183. Abu al-Walid Sulaiman ibn Khalaf ibn Sa'ad al-Andalusi recited to me the following poetic verses from himself. Where's Al-Andalus? Spain. Jayyid. This was for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years underneath Muslim rule. And it was the eye of the world in terms of its beauty. It was an extremely amazing place. It's the nature that it had, and the buildings that they had, and the engineering that they had, and the scientific advancements that they had. The studies was the epicenter of the world, whether it was religious or secular knowledge. But unfortunately, the Muslims, they let go of their religion, they let go of their religion, they let go of their religion until they became groups and sects, and they became little cities, defending and fighting, defending their own land and fighting one another, until the enemies of Islam came and took it, one city at a time, one territory at a time, and it hasn't been back in Muslim hands since. And this is a great lesson for us, that a lot of good does not last if you are not using it in the right way. If you're not using it in the right way. Allah Azza wa Jalla strengthens this ummah through the religion, and when this ummah removes itself from that strength, meaning the holding on to the religion, so does Allah Azza wa Jalla remove our strength. He recited to me the following poetic verse from himself. If I knew with certain knowledge that my whole life was like an hour, then why shouldn't I be stingy with it and devote all of it to righteousness and obedience? This is a beautiful statement by Abu al-Walid, rahimahullah, where he mentions that this whole life, if you're going to ask a person in the hereafter, how did you find your life? They'll say, like a night time or it's morning, a very short time, an hour, a little bit more, a little bit less. It was a very short time. Person, even if he lives for 100 years, 200 years, 500 years, at the end, it's going to feel to him like it was a very short time. So he's saying, if I know that my life is only going to be like an hour, why shouldn't I be stingy with it? Why shouldn't I be stingy with it? Meaning, why shouldn't I use it in that goodness? Like if we said, here's a bag, you have 5 minutes to get as much money from the truck as you can. No one's going to take a toilet break, no one's going to talk on their phone, no one's going to check their social media, no one's going to have a coffee. You're going to use that complete 5 minutes to get as much money as you can. Similarly, when it comes to us and our limited time in this dunya, we need to try our best to use it in the best possible way, according to the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In our particular context, using it to study the religion and to implement the religion and to pass on the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that will very well mean sacrificing even a lot of the halal things that we do. But to sacrifice for that greater purpose. Why? Because you want to be stingy with your time. And even the fun and enjoyment that you have, it is number one, the majority of it, a productive fun and enjoyment, where there's even at least some worldly benefit, like gym or working out. There's some worldly benefit, or that complete waste of time that you have. It's short, it's limited, and it's just there to rejuvenate, back to get to the important stuff when it comes to seeking knowledge, acting upon it, and passing it on. I heard Asari Saqati say, every day that has passed by, you will not find anyone. So if you will not find any more. So if you are upon one now, meaning you are in a day, then treat it greatly. You are in a day right now, a day goes by, khalas, it's finished. That day is finished, you never get that back. You ask yourself now, how old are you? You're a young man, tabarakallah. How old are you, brother? 20, mashallah, young man. 20, you know how many days there are? How many days is that? How many days is 20 years? No clue? You want to figure out? You're not good at maths? How much is 1 day? 1 year? 365. So let's just go 400. Let's go 350. Nice and easy. 350. 350 times 10? No, this is a bad. No. All you got to do is add 0. Just add 0. Good. Times 2 to make it 20. Times 2, because you're 20 years old. So times 10 is 3,500. Times 2 makes it 7,000. Okay? So you're 7,000 plus. 7,000 plus days. Gone. Finished. 7,000 plus days. The one who's 40 years old, how do you 40 yet? Yeah. Now you look at 14,000 days. Gone. Finished. 14,000 days gone. You'll never get them back again in your life. You'll never get them back. Ask yourself, okay, what did I do in those 14,000 days? What did I do in those 10,000 days? What did I do in those 7,000 days? What did I do with my life in that time? What did I do that I still have with me until now? Did I gather the world and what's in it? Not really. Did I gather all types of goodness and treasures and pearls and luxuries in this dunya? Not really. What did I gain? What did I do in that time until now? If you memorize, for example, one hadith, as an example, a day, where would you be now? If you memorize one verse, where would you be now? If you memorize one book, one statement from the scholars, where would you be now? If you read one page from the books of the ulama, where would you be now? A person, this is going to come with us with the procrastinating. Person thinks, khalas, I've got time. But he looks so far ahead that he forgets all the things that he's missed out on now. So we don't want to be that person. Yesterday is gone. The last 10,000 days have gone. The last 15,000 days have gone. The question is not, how much days do I have left? We don't need to live like that. We need to live like now. They say plan as if you're going to live forever. Live as if you're going to die tomorrow. So now you can say, I want to go to uni, I want to work this job, inshallah, I want to get married, I want to have children. You plan as if you're going to live to 1 million, no issue. But the way that you live, no, you live as if you're going to die tomorrow. You fulfilled your obligations, you exerted yourself in the good, etc. 185. Abdullah ibn al-Mubarak reported us that Sa'id ibn Salim said, Ruh bin Zinbi' came upon a home between Makkah and Medina on a summer day and brought his food home with him. At that point, a shepherd was descending from a hill, so he said to him, O shepherd, come here to eat. The man replied, I'm fasting. Ruh said, are you fasting in this intense heat? So the shepherd said, should I then let all my days go in vain? So Ruh recited the following poetic verses. You have been stingy with your days, O shepherd, whereas Ruh bin Zinbi' is generous with his. Meaning, this person who is looking after the livestock, and usually the people that are shepherds, because they're out from the early mornings and they stay out sometimes for days on end, or they go and they come back in the night time, and then they go out again, they're constantly away. So they don't have much time for seeking knowledge and the like. But this person, even though he didn't have a high level of knowledge, he had ibadah, and he had understanding of the reality of this dunya. That even though I'm out busy with my life, and even though it's hot, my days are limited. So let me take advantage of my days. Let me take advantage of my days. In the intense heat, with his intense work, in going out to and taking the animals to their pasture, he would still fast. He would still fast. And Ruh is from amongst the righteous. So he looks at himself and he says, SubhanAllah, this person with this basic understanding and this hard life is fasting because he wants to take advantage of his days. He's been so stingy with his days. He's taken advantage of it. As for me, I've been so generous, meaning I haven't exerted myself in that which is good. Anything that is wasting of time or something which is not as good, you go and do it, and that which is better, you leave. La. This is where the stinginess comes in its praiseworthy form. Abdullah bin Muhammad bin Ubayd al-Qurshi narrator saying, one of the people of knowledge narrated to me saying, a group of people invited a man to come eat with them on a scorching hot day with intense heat. But he said, I'm fasting. So they said, you are fasting on a day like this? He said, should I then take all of my days for granted? So what if it's hot? When do you want me to wait until it's perfect conditions and then fast? When am I going to fast? No, I need to take advantage of the time that I have. He's hastening to do that good that he can. Abu Bakr bin Abi Dunya narrator saying, one of the scholars narrated to me saying, some people once invited a man to eat food with them, so he said to them, I'm fasting. They said, break it and fast tomorrow. So he replied, and who can guarantee me tomorrow? Abdullah ibn al-Mu'taz said, seize the available opportunity and do not anticipate tomorrow, for who can guarantee that tomorrow will occur? Ali radiallahu anhu used to say, give every day its due worth of good deeds, you will be rightly guided. All of this is alluding to the same meaning, that it's important for you to take advantage of what you have now. Don't delay. Don't delay. Don't worry about 5 years' time when you get married for you to settle down. Don't worry about 10 years' time for you to have your business set up, for you to settle down. Don't worry until life is perfect and the stars have aligned for you to be serious in seeking knowledge. Make sure you take advantage of your life and your time now. Especially the youth, and this is some narrations about the youth are going to come now, inshallah. It's very important at this perfect age for you to exert yourself in seeking knowledge. You now have the ability today to seek knowledge. Some brothers, there was one brother here at the masjid. I would see him maybe over a period of like 3, 4, 5 years. And every time I see him, it would be on a Tuesday, because this is when I'm here on Tuesdays. And they say, Sheikh, are you doing lessons? I go, Habibi, for the past 3 years I've been telling you, we do lessons here every single Tuesday. Every single Tuesday. Inshallah I want to start. Inshallah I want to start. Every time he would see me, the exact same thing. What would he do? Taban, that day he was busy. That's why he came here, and then he's going somewhere else after. If he had come or stayed that Tuesday, or even come the Tuesday after, imagine where he would be now. Imagine how much benefit he would have gotten now. But, next week, later, work, marriage, business, holiday, weather, whatever the excuse is. Whatever the excuse is. If you want to give yourself an excuse, believe me, you can give yourself 1 billion excuses. You can give yourself 1 billion excuses if you don't want to come. But a beautiful statement I heard once was, excuses are for others, not for yourself. Excuses are for others, not for yourself. I can make an excuse for him. That brother doesn't come, wallah, he's got issues at home. That brother doesn't come because, mashallah, he knows. That brother doesn't come because he goes somewhere better. That brother doesn't come because he has to work to feed his family. I can give him excuses. But you shouldn't accept excuses for your own self. You have the ability, you go and you stick to it. Another brother, every maybe 6 months, I'll send him a message or he'll send me a message. Assalamu alaikum, where you been? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the conversation usually always ends up with, wallah, I need to start coming to lessons, man. It's been like that for years. Wallah, I need to start coming to lessons. Tayyib, I know for a fact, that one he doesn't have an excuse. Because I know 100%. Now, I know for a fact that brother is missing out on benefit. Wallah, forget my lesson, no problem. Go to anyone's lesson. Go to anyone's lesson. But when are you going to start? What are you waiting for if you're not going to take advantage of today? You're not going to take advantage of now. When are you going to start? When are you going to go? And that's why for anything to do with, because our context seeking knowledge, anything to do with seeking knowledge, go and do it. Go and do it. Don't wait. Don't delay. The only reason you delay and you're doing something good, and then maybe you might do something better later on. But right now you're doing the good. You don't delay saying, I'm going to do something good later, and you don't do anything now at all. No. Maybe you have a plan, you say, okay, now we're in 2023, inshallah, the beginning of 2024, I want to go overseas to study, inshallah. No problem. 2024, in your mind, you want to go overseas, inshallah. Beautiful. Then what are you going to do now, Ba? What are you going to do now? So many brothers I know, so many brothers, Shaitan gets them exactly like this. And we're going to speak about procrastination, how it's one of the soldiers of Iblis. I'm going to, inshallah, go overseas and study. No problem. So what are you doing now? What are you doing right now? What are you doing? I'm working, I'm trying to save money, I'm looking to get married. Okay, but why are you seeking knowledge now? Well, I'm just trying to organize a few things in my life. This is just procrastinating. This is just going to move you away from the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal. You need to write it down as a guarantee. Close your eyes and pack it away, and then remind him in 6 months' time or a year's time. That see how the shaitan moved you away? Why? Because you didn't take advantage of what you have right now. You don't know how your circumstances, just like we said it last week, you don't know what circumstances you're going to be like in 2-3 years' time, in 2-3 months' time. You don't know how they're going to be in 2-3 hours' time. So what do you need to take advantage of? Take advantage of what you have right now. What's available to me right this second? Some brothers, tabarakallah, they've got time, ability. They can come every Fajr and study Quran. Wallah, absolutely excellent, do it. Some brothers, they can go to a lesson every single day in the week. Excellent, do it. Some brothers, they can go to 3 lessons a week. Do it. Whatever you can, make sure you take advantage of that time. Qiyam al-layl, siyam, sadaqah, whatever you have at this moment, take advantage of it because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Hafsa bint Sirin, one of the famous female scholars in Islam. Who is she the sister of? Ibn Sirin. Jayd, what's his name? Have a wild guess. Jayd. There's a famous scholar known as Ibn Sirin. This is his kunya. Naam Ibn Sirin. And he's a very famous scholar, and he's got a lot of volumes in different fields and sciences in Islam. This is his sister. This is his sister. Regarding female scholarship, there were female scholars in Islamic history without doubt, but it wasn't the norm. It wasn't the norm. For the exact same reasons you find that the prophets were men and not women. Now, because women, they don't have the same traits that make it easy for them and appropriate for them to get out and study and give da'wah and free themselves up, etc. The women have different roles, different responsibilities, they have different priorities and the like, and it's not as appropriate for them to get out and be open in their da'wah, etc. There were female scholars, but it was done in a very, very, very appropriate manner. We don't have what we have today. She's not even a scholar, she's not even a shaykha, she's not even a, she's a da'iyah. And she's out in conferences, and mashallah, her earrings are hanging out, and her face is beautified, and her eyebrows are done, and her sleeves come up to here, and her feet are showing, and she's shaking hands with men, and she's talking to you about the beauty of Islam. Allah yabarik fiki. This is not how Islamic scholarship was. Now, Hafsa bint Sirin, there's the famous statement of her and the covering when it comes to modesty, where she used to cover like extensively. And she was an old lady, and when someone say to her, why do you cover so extensively? Even though Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala he reduced the strictness on older women, much older women that there's no desire from them to get married or that anyone's going to marry them. The rules of the hijab are relaxed a little bit. Why do you cover so extensively? She said, because, finish the verse, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and for you to maintain modesty is better. She was extremely modest in her older years, where marriage is not even in the question anymore. How about women that are in their prime? Not covered, out there beautified. You would think that they're going to a modeling show. And then the face of Islamic conferences, talking to the men about Islamic matters that any guy can speak about. Why did you need to get females in that regard? This is from the sad influences that we're having when it comes to being affected by the West and modern Western philosophies and the like. And the Muslim needs to be far above these lowly matters. Now, for a sister to give da'wah to other sisters or conference with other sisters is 100% no issue. 100% no issue. To give lessons to other sisters, no issue. if there's a specific topic that a woman needs to speak about because she's the only one that is skilled in that particular field and she's dressed appropriately, no problem for her to speak. And even if it was in front of the men, based on a need basis, there's a possibility. But for someone to get up without a need, mutabarrija, beautified, to speak about something general at an Islamic conference, let alone ayadhan billah, something wrong, what she's saying is actually wrong, this is a massive issue. Massive issue, and this only opens up the door to more and more and more evil. And unfortunately, the door's already been opened, and may Allah Azza wa Jalla forgive and guide those that started this trend, but ayadhan billah, it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse, Allah musta'an. So, this is a reminder to all of the Islamic organizations and all of the Muslim organizations, the heads and the people in it, to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and stick firmly to the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam when it comes to giving da'wah, and don't just do things because society accepts it today. And then use Aisha radiallahu anha as an example. Aisha radiallahu anha, she is our example, but use the example properly. She used to give da'wah, how ya Mus'ab? From behind the veil. She didn't give da'wah, wallah, talking about the beauty of Islam and the role of the woman in Islam and how men need to treat their women better in Islam. This is what Aisha radiallahu anha was talking about. She was talking about passing on that which the Prophet ﷺ taught her, or the things that only she had knowledge of from the Prophet ﷺ, because she used to live with him. And she lived with him for many years. And there was many things that no one knew except Aisha radiallahu anha. And when she would give da'wah, it wasn't wallah in front of all of the men. It was for selected students. They come and they ask, for example, and she's from behind the hijab. And not only she was wearing hijab, a proper hijab, completely covered, including her face, but even there was a barrier between her and the men asking. So, please do not use Islamic examples in an un-Islamic way or to reach un-Islamic conclusions. Wallahu musta'an. So Hafsa bin Sirin, rahmatullahi alayha, would say, O gathering of youth, perform righteous deeds, for indeed the time for performing actions is during the age of adolescence. Now, mashallah, you're young, you're fit, you're healthy, you have free time. This is the time to be active. This is the time to be active. This is when you can seek knowledge easily. And now, for you to come 2-3 hours every single day, no issue. For you to sacrifice half of your Saturday, no issue. But when you get married and your responsibilities become more and your children become older, inshallah, it's a problem. Because if you're at work all day and then you're in the masjid all night, now you're oppressing your family. We don't want anyone to oppress their family. Now, or he becomes older, his body becomes more tired, his joints, his muscles, his brain, all of it hurts, haram. Yeah, he gets home, all he can do is sleep. He gets straight home, straight to bed. Now, a person doesn't have that problem, alhamdulillah, when they're young. Now, to go to travel from here to there to the other city, you don't have that issue, tabarakallah. Take advantage of it. For you to sit and memorize, alhamdulillah, you have the ability. Ask an old man to memorize, extremely hard. Extremely hard. Sometimes you find any old man, well, it's very cute, in the masjid. Sometimes you will be happy because he memorized Surah Al-Humaza, for example. A few lines, but it took him months to memorize and to perfect. And even when he recites it, he still makes mistakes. Because khalas, it's become hard for him to memorize. The strength of his memory is not easy. As for you, mashallah, as youth, you have the ability. You have the ability to invest your time in these matters. And ibadah. You see the old men, again, they come sit for 5 minutes, they start nodding off. How are they going to stand like hours praying at night or half an hour praying at night? It's very hard for them. You see them, Jum'ah, they can't sit, they have to sit on a chair. Tarawih, they have to sit on a chair. It's very hard for them. Or to fast, they can't fast well because they need to take 17 different types of medicines during the day. May Allah cure all of the believing men and women. A person doesn't have that ability when they're older. So what do you need to do? You need to make sure that you take advantage of it in your youth. Ubaydullah bin Muhammad bin Hafs al-Qurashi narrated to us from his father saying, one wise man once wrote to one of his brothers who was young to proceed, indeed, I say that the majority of those who die are youth, and the proof for this is that the elders are few. When you look in society, who do you see more of? The old people or the young people? In general in society, who do you see more? You see old people? You see old people? Who are you young now? No, I see you're so young, tabarakallah. You see, you're young, Allah barik. Old, yani 65, 70, 80 years old. In society, who do you see more? People that are yani younger, okay, 40, 45 and below, or people that are older in society, yani 75, 80 years old. Who do you see more of? You see the younger. Why? The majority of people, they don't make it to those old ages. Now, they don't make it to those old ages. And even if they are alive, it's as if they're dead. In terms of their abilities and their capacity to do things, it's very hard for them, you need to live and to get by, etc. So you don't expect, wallah, as you as a young man, khalas, inshallah, I'm going to live to 85, 90 years old, 95 years old. We as human beings, we have a very strange way of thinking where we have this understanding, it's not going to happen to me. It's like a golden rule of human beings, it's not going to happen to me. Now, how old are you now? 32 years old. Do you remember when you were about 10 years old? You don't remember when you were like 10 years old looking at your cousins that were maybe like 15, 16, 17, or like 18 years old? Yeah. Like when we were 10 and your cousin was 18. Yeah. Like that's like a peak age, I can't wait till I'm 18. And then you were 18 and your cousin, for example, was like 25. You're like, bro, you're getting old now. You're getting married, you're having kids. When you were like, heck, 20 years old and your cousin was 30, you're like, oof, this guy, his life's finished. 30 years old. Now you're 30 years old, or 32 years old and your cousin's 40. And you're like, 40, ooh, what a big age. When you get to 40, the whole time, when you got to 18, when you got to 20, when you got 25, when you got 30, when you get to 40, you still think that, khalas, you're a shab, you're a young man, you can do whatever you want. It's not old. What do you mean? People say, 40 is old. 40 is not old. 40, I'm still, tabarakallah, a stallion. When we get to 50, you're going to say the same thing. When you get to 60, you're going to say the same thing. When you get to 70, you're going to say the same thing. You, in your brain, you think, tabarakallah, that you're this, an amazing person that has all the capabilities in the world. When the reality is you don't. You don't have that ability. Even if you were to live to that old age, what makes you think that you're going to be different to the old man that you say, haram, he can't stay awake, or that he can't keep his wudu, or he's forgetting everything. There's one person, they hate when I told them, you're starting to forget. They hate it. So they'll say something, and then like 1 hour later they'll say something, and I'll say, man, you just said that, we just spoke about that. They hate when I say it. Why? Because to them, they're worried about things like dementia and amnesia and the like. So they're worried about it, so whenever it's brought up, because they're older in age, it affects them. But the switch is so sudden, people don't realize. It creeps on you so suddenly. I seen with my grandmother, rahmatullah alayha, and a very strong woman in her character. In a very short time, because of amnesia, may Allah have mercy on her and all of the Muslims that have passed away. The time from being this strong character woman that can take on the world, tabarakallah, to not knowing who her children are, it doesn't feel like it's very long at all. And that person will never feel like creep up on them. The exact same way you see in your physical strength. Like that person is not the person that he was. 5 years ago he was an ox, tabarakallah. Now he's not. The person's wittiness, a person's memory, whatever it may be. The reality is, as human beings, we get to our peak and then we start dropping. We get to our peak and then we start dropping. That's the reality. But the same human being, he always lies to himself and he thinks, no, it won't happen to me, it won't happen to me. So if you're waiting for that perfect time later on, it's never going to happen. You need to take advantage of what you have now. You don't know if you're going to live to 9 years old. And if you do, again, Allah knows how your state will be. So what do you need to do? You need to take advantage of Allah barik, that strength and that ability that you have now. Ad-Dahhak bin Muzahim said, perform good deeds before you are unable to perform deeds, for I would like to perform deeds today, but I am not able to. Again, this is a reality. Sometimes you need to look at your father or your grandfather. If he feels to go to Hajj or Umrah, he would struggle. If he feels to try and focus on the reading of Quran, he would struggle. If he feels to come to a lesson, he would struggle. If he feels to try and pray 2 long rak'at, he would struggle. So look at that and take a lesson from it. What did we say? Many times in this course and before it, the smart man is the one who learns from his mistakes. But the genius is the one who learns from the mistakes of others. So you look at others and look at their reality and take the lesson from it. Muhammad bin Ashqab as-Saffar, narrator, saying, a man from his family meaning the family of Dawood al-Ta'i, narrated to me saying, I said to him, O Abu Sulaiman, you are aware of the family ties between us and you, so advise us. His eyes filled with tears and he said, O my brother, verily the night and the day are stages that the people pass through, stage by stage, until this takes them to the end of their journey. So if you are able to put forth a provision during every week's stage, then do so. For indeed, the end of the journey is as near as you can get, and the affair, meaning the day of judgment, is quicker than that. So take provisions for your journey, and take yourself to account, for indeed, on that day, you will not be able to judge in your affairs. So it is as if your affair has come upon you all of a sudden, and I don't know anyone that is more heedless of this than me. He got up and he left me. And you delay and you delay and you delay until all of a sudden you realize the reality hit. Now you don't have the ability, and that regret won't benefit you. And just like we're saying now, he's been alive for, Allah barik, 14,000 days. 14,000 days he's been alive. Now, okay, he still has the ability. He's still 20 years old, soon he's peaked, tabarakallah. He's still working up to his peak aslan. He still feels alright. But just like these 20 years went fast, the next 10 years will go fast. And then the 10 years after that will go fast. And before you know it, you haven't achieved anything, nor do you have the ability to achieve anything anymore. So you need to learn from the mistakes of others. Umar ibn Muhammad ibn Ahmad recited to me the following poetic verses. You are immersed in reckless hopes, and you do not know when the time of death will come. Do not let good health deceive you, for it is from the most painful of illnesses. Every soul is dependent upon its present day, for in the morning, meaning tomorrow, his hopes are cut off. Therefore, do good and strive hard in that, before you are prevented from deeds. You are immersed in reckless hopes. It's usually, and there's a hadith to this meaning, it's usually these people hopes and dreams that keep them away from taking advantage of what they have now. They're wishful thinking. When this works out, I'm going to do this. When this works out, I'm going to do that. And they keep chasing their tails, chasing their tails, until one day they realize, I can't do any of the which I wanted to do, and I can't go back and change that reality. Wallahu musta'an. Abdullah ibn Muhammad al-Ash'ari al-Madini recited to me these poetic verses from Mahmud. Your yesterday has passed on as a just witness, and you have come upon a day which is also a witness against you. So if yesterday you committed an evil deed, then follow that up with 2 good deeds, and you will be praiseworthy. But do not put aside doing a good deed today for tomorrow, for perhaps tomorrow will come, yet you no longer exist. And if you find fault with your today, its benefit will come back to you. But as for what you did yesterday, that will not come back to you. And you in this dunya, if you had a mistake that you've made yesterday, work harder now. Meaning the life that you've passed on all those years, maybe you neglected, maybe you didn't memorize Quran, maybe you didn't learn your religion, maybe you didn't give da'wah, maybe you didn't come to the masjid enough. No problem, it's past. So what do? Fix it now. By working as hard as you can. By working as hard as you can. If you made a mistake, then work harder. As for if you made a mistake today, and then you can say, khalas, tomorrow I'll fix it. How do you know tomorrow is going to come? Tomorrow it comes and you still haven't done it. Day after comes, you still haven't done it. Day after that, you still haven't come. And then again, you live your whole life like that until eventually there's no turning back. Al-Walid bin Salih narrated to us from a man who said, I saw the Prophet ﷺ in a dream, and he said to me, what's the rulings when it comes to the Prophet ﷺ seeing him in a dream? And what are the guidelines regarding accepting what's said?
You say how Rasulullah looks? The dream cannot be, where he looks cannot be false.
The shaitan cannot take the form of the Prophet ﷺ in a dream. So if you think that you've seen the dream of the Prophet ﷺ and he fits the description of the Prophet ﷺ, then this is the Prophet ﷺ. Jayyid. As for that which the Prophet ﷺ, if he said something to you or he advised you to do something, Jayyid.
If he follows what he said in his sunnah, then you follow it.
Good.
If it's not, then you
But if it's something obviously according to what Islam came with, then there's no issue with it. No, there's no issue with it, and you can take it and act upon it. But if it's something which is an innovation or to do something new in the religion, then obviously that's not allowed, and it's not the Prophet ﷺ. Now you're mistaken in your understanding of what the Prophet ﷺ looks like. So in this dream, the man claims, we don't say it's a hadith, very important as well. we don't say it's a hadith. Okay, if someone said, the Prophet said to me in the dream, we don't say it's a hadith. We say this person seen a dream and he claimed that the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever treats his 2 days, meaning today and tomorrow, equally is cheated. Whoever's tomorrow is the worst of his 2 days is cursed. Whoever doesn't acknowledge the deficiency in himself is given into deficiency or has given into deficiency. And whoever is given into deficiency, death is better for him. Meaning, don't delay. Don't delay. And take advantage of what you have today. Take advantage of what you have today. The disapproval of procrastinating. Procrastinating is putting things off. In Arabic, they say tasweef. Okay? وبين السين والصوفة. يعني سوف أعمل سأعمل. I'm going to, inshallah in the future, inshallah when this happens. This is all from procrastinating. Umar bin Malik narrated Abu al-Jawza that he said concerning the same of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and those whose affairs are in excessiveness, in furuta, means procrastination. Any people who think, khalas, I'll be fine. This is all about procrastinating, and these people end up leading, because of their actions, into their own demise. Shu'bah reported that Abu Ishaq said, it was once said to a man from Abil Qais, advise us. So he said, beware of using the word sofa. And beware of using the word I will. I will in the future, I will. This word I will, wallah, we should warn ourselves against. Okay? What's today? Today's Tuesday. Okay, what's Wednesday? Wednesday I have these, Thursday I have that. You know what? Inshallah, khalas, next Monday, 100% I'm going to change man next Monday. There's been guys out there starting diets for the past 7 years on Monday. Or fixing his character for the past 10 years on Monday. Or repenting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the past 15 years on Monday. Or putting the hijab on, inshallah, this birthday. How long are you going to wait until you actually implement what you need to implement? How does the implementation come? By implementing it straight away. Don't worry about I will. Don't worry about procrastinating. Now. You want to know when the time is to do something? It's now. When's the time to start reading Quran? Now. When's the time to start praying Qiyam al-Layl? Now. When's the time to be good to your parents? Now. When's the time to have good character? Now. When's the time to stop working the haram job? Now. When's the time to stop swearing by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala without knowledge? Now. When's the time to get rid of your social media? Now. When you delay, this only actually increases in the addiction itself. And it strengthens the addiction. You know, for example, if you take social media, you know, like the dopamine hits that the person gets. This is harder to leave than heroin. You remember, you young boys don't know much about heroin, but the older guys will know. Heroin was a big issue in Sydney, a massive issue. A lot of people's uncles died, or family members died because of heroin overdoses, and there was certain areas where the whole area, just people are half asleep on the ground. It was bad. Heroin was a big issue. Now, and anyone that knew anyone with a heroin addiction knew that it was almost impossible for the person to get off it. Almost impossible. So what would happen is a person that would try and get off it, usually what they would need to give him is just a bunch of other drugs to try and balance his want for the heroin. But still, it was extremely hard for him to be 100% normal. Very, very, very hard because of how strong the addiction was. When a person comes to the dopamine hits and the addiction he gets to the dopamine hits in the brain, the scientists say that they are harder to leave than heroin itself. That's why pornography is so bad. Because when a man finishes, akramakumullah, and his eyesight is watching what he's watching, those two things together make it one of the hardest addictions on the face of the earth. And that's why you find so many people that have a problem with pornography. It's extremely hard to leave. Extremely hard. And they always, I try to leave and I go back. I try to leave and I go back. I try to leave and I go back. Why? Because of that problem and that connection between you watching and finishing and the chemical releases in your brain, that this is what's going to make you happy. That split second of happiness, this is what's going to make me happy. And that makes addiction extremely strong. And so every time you try to leave it, you just end up falling back into it. Sheikh Wael Ibrahim has a lot of very good work in this field. طيب. When you want to leave something bad, when you continuously are watching, for example, TikTok or whatever, and you're continuously scrolling and you're laughing, scrolling, you're laughing, scrolling, you're laughing, you watch it, you watch it, you watch it, all of your happiness is linked to, for example, that TikTok app. The more that you're on it, what's going to happen? The more your brain is going to register, this is what makes you happy. So that's what's going to make the addiction stronger. It's like smoking, for example. You smoke a packet of cigarettes. They still have like Winnie Blues. No one smokes Winnie Blues anymore, huh? Everyone smokes that junky stuff that smells like that. Yeah, you know. If a person needs to be a lawyer, you need to smoke Winnie Blues these days. Yeah, imagine a person saying, "Khalas, I'm gonna just this month of Winnie Blues, and then inshallah I'll quit." For example, you saying that, you increasing in smoking, you're just making your addiction stronger and worse. You're making addiction stronger and worse, and you're making it harder for you to leave later on. You're making the addiction that your body has to the nicotine worse because you're prolonging the usage of it. So it's just building stronger and stronger and stronger in your body. So now when you get to leave it, it's going to be harder. That's why so many people fail. Because they don't, that's it. I'm going to leave it now. I'm going to make the decision to leave it. And they leave it. Al-Hasan al-Basri rahimahullah, he said, beware of procrastinating, for indeed you are in your present day and not in your tomorrow. So if there is tomorrow for you, then be in tomorrow as you are in today. And if there is no tomorrow for you, then do not regret over what you neglected today. Yani right now, you have your day in front of you. As like we said before, live as if you're going to die tomorrow. Plan as if you're going to live forever, but live as if you're going to die tomorrow. Yani do what's upon you. Do what's upon you. That way, if you were to die tomorrow, alhamdulillah, you've done what's upon you. Like imagine this beautiful intention. Imagine a person says, khalas, from today, inshallah, I'm going to start my journey in memorizing the entire Quran. As an example. Today, inshallah, I'm going to start my journey in memorizing the whole Quran. And he died tomorrow. Imagine he gets rewarded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as if he memorized the whole Quran. Why? Because that was his sincere intention. And he took the steps to start it. And he died, didn't achieve anything. Maybe he memorized one verse. Maybe he memorized one verse. Maybe he didn't memorize anything. But he started the journey. He started the steps towards it. And then if you are alive tomorrow, then continue. Continue living like that. Continue doing it. But if you were to die, khalas, alhamdulillah, at least you've done what you've done. As opposed to the person saying, tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow, and you end up like our friend here, 14,000 days, he doesn't even know how many days he's been alive. Allah musta'an. Did he just realize that we're speaking about it? Abu al-Jild said, I read in some books, the word sulfur is indeed one of the soldiers in the army of Iblis. This is one of the ways that Iblis tricks you. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow and next week and next month, inshallah, when you get married and when you turn 25 and when you turn 40 and inshallah when you become an old man and when you pay off your bill and you pay off your house, when you pay off your car, just after you set up your business, once you finish uni, all of these types of inshallah, I will until what happens? The person never gets around to it, Allah will start. Look at, today I was thinking about it, subhanAllah, the amount of girls that are now not wearing hijab. We had like, for every extreme, you get another extreme. Take that as a golden rule. And in our next course, we'll be speaking about that, inshallah. For every extreme, you get another extreme. Maybe, how old am I now? I'm X amount years old. Maybe 23 years ago, 25 years ago, it was very common to see a lot of girls not wearing hijab. It was very common. And a lot of the girls that wore hijab, usually they were actually like decent girls, very decent girls. Now, even the ones that didn't wear hijab, a lot of them were actually decent, to be honest. Then, alhamdulillah, there was a big Islamic push, and all the girls started putting on hijab, tabarakallah. So everywhere you went, all the girls wore hijab. And it was very rare to find a girl that wasn't wearing hijab. Now, you look, and unfortunately, the same group who, 5, 10 years ago, they were all wearing hijab. Now there's like 3 girls wearing hijab, 3 girls not wearing hijab. 4 girls wearing hijab, 2 girls not wearing hijab, etc. This is a very, very, very sad reality. In schools, in universities and the like, well, it's very sad to see the amount of girls not wearing hijab. One of the things that, there's a million reasons why it's happening. One of the reasons is things like social media. When this young girl, she's 12, 13, 14 years old, she's on social media. Instagram, beautifying yourself, etc. And she gets, remember that dopamine here, she gets her kicks of people commenting on her photos, mashallah, beautiful fire, ma'arif sure. And she gets any likes on her posts. When is she going to put on the hijab? Ask yourself now, the girl who's doing that, when is she going to stop that? A lot of them will say things like, "Khalas, inshallah, when I get married, then I'll put on the hijab. When I get married, that's when I'll change." That used to be, by the way, that 20 years ago, that's what used to be very common. After my wedding day, once I've done all my photos, blah, blah, then I'll put on the hijab. Now it's becoming, again, it's going into that. When she gets married, now because her social media is full of it, now they almost look at it and it's not the right way of thinking. Don't say, "Why am I going to put on my hijab now?" Khalas, the whole world's seeing me without hijab. And for me to go through the social medias of me and my friends, what a big labaki, what a big headache. So it gives them more of a reason not to put the hijab on. Because of how hard it is now for them to put the hijab on. Go and talk to all my friends, please take all my photos off. And just a big headache, don't worry about it. Let it go. Like the nicotine example. The more you smoke, the harder it's going to be to leave. The more they commit that sin, the harder it's going to be to continue on later on. The more you get used to laziness, the harder it's going to be for you to be serious later on. So now that a person's in their prime, upon them is to start. The last narration that comes with us, Muhammad bin Samura as-Sa'ih wrote to me the following letter. "O brother, beware of letting procrastination take control of you and letting it take a firm root in your heart, for indeed it is the cause for fatigue and wasting of time. Due to it, aspirations are cut short and appointed times are not met. If you allow this to happen, you have let it free you from your resolutions and in effect take you over, and reclaim your body from the lethargy that overtook you. But when it returns back to you, your soul will not benefit from your body. And hasten, my brother, for indeed you are being hastened. And rush, for indeed you are being rushed. And be serious, for indeed the matter is serious. Awaken from your sleep and snap out of your heedlessness. And remember that you have not left behind what you fell short in, what you neglected, what crimes you committed, and what deeds you did. For indeed that is recorded and you will be held accountable for it. So it is as if the matter has come upon you all of a sudden, and so you are either happy with what you have put forth for it or remorseful for what you have neglected." This is, subhanAllah, a beautiful reminder to finish the book on, that everything that has gone past, don't think that you don't have anything from it. No. That which remains with you until now is that which was recorded. And ask yourself, is it what you're happy with? Is what was recorded that which you're happy with now? The playing, the mucking around, the haram, the wasting time, the amount that we slept, etc. All up until now, are we happy with what we have? The majority of people are going to say no. That's what the majority of people are going to say. The reality is they're going to say no. So what do? At least we use that and we take that and use it to our advantage by preparing for what is to come. Prepare for what is to come, and inshallah Azza wa Jal, you will see that benefit. This book, Iqtidaa-ul Ilm al Amal, that knowledge mandates action, were just some statements showing us the importance of seeking knowledge and how to take advantage of our time and our actions and the ways to seek knowledge. And it's very important, as we mentioned, brothers, to see that we have benefited. What benefit have we made? What changes have we made? There are many other books that talk about more specific things to do with how student knowledge should dress, how student knowledge should talk, how student knowledge, what student knowledge should read, etc. These are other books, and these are there's a lot of lessons about them online. So please make sure that you do get back to them and benefit from them. But these narrations, our intention was to show what the ulama said about how you should be, and then hopefully those things affect us. Hopefully those things are encouragements for us, that whenever we're falling into a matter where we're falling short, or we're being deficient, or we're not taking advantage of what we need to take advantage from our time and our efforts, etc., that we remember these types of statements. And or if we come across individuals that are making mistakes in this, we can remind them. Someone, for example, all he wants to do is argue. Reply back with these responses. Someone is proud of their knowledge and they act in a way which is not according to the way that the scholars are. Remind them with these statements. Now, so it's not only a benefit for you, but once you've implemented them, they also are a great means for benefit to others. May Allah Azza wa Jal make this book a means of benefit for us and the Ummah, and allow us to see it in our scale of good deeds. هذا والله أعلم. صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله محمد وصحبه أجمعين.